career ladder. I just want to read a WhatsApp message that has come through from Rolene. It says, "Morning, Link FM. It's our first year wedding anniversary today. I want to say happy anniversary to my love, Stuart, and thank you for always being there for me through thick and thin. Love you to the moon and back." From your honey bear, Rodine. So happy anniversary to Stuart and Rodine. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so special. Happy anniversary to you. 1 year and to many more to come. And that's what we're trusting the Lord for over your marriage, over your union. So at this time on a Monday, we usually do a climbing the career ladder motivation where we encourage, where we impart, information with you, but okay, not me. More like Kodani Khatwayo, who is a career strategist. She shares all those insights with us, and this is what we're going to do now as she is with us. So good morning and welcome back, Kodani.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Bantu. I'm glad to be back.
Thank you so much for coming back to the Ethology Kids be with you, like treat you well last week Monday.
Yes, I had so much fun with them. It was quite amazing to think that I'm actually more than 10 years older than them and that they've got so much knowledge. Wow, the questions.
In other words, lady, you are old. I'm joking. I'm only teasing you.
I am.
I'm only teasing you, Kodani. But anyway, welcome back and thank you so much for making the time today. If anyone doesn't know Kodani Hlatshwayo is, who is Kodani before we get to this week's topic?
Yes, I am a career strategist. I'm a founder of Career and Corporate Hub, and I'm very much passionate about education. So I work as a team manager in one of the biggest automotive companies here
in the world.
Yes,
not even only in the country.
Wow, and I'm a mom as well.
Yes,
I can't leave that out.
And you a mentor.
And I'm a mentor. And something new, I'm actually part of the Be Visionary Mercedes-Benz Fellowship mentors. So I'm one of the mentors that will be mentoring people from international. So
nice.
I'm glad to be part of that as well. So that's something new.
But this is, it just, or rather affirms what we're talking about, that the purpose of the Lord will prevail or will stand. That's what we're talking about, because we see how passionate you are about mentorship and career growth and career development, and look at how God is opening many more doors for you ever since you said, you know what, I'm going after this one, and God has just opened doors left, right and center, and it's only just being for you being obedient to this purpose and this plan.
Definitely, I'm grateful to to have this opportunity, and definitely thanks to God.
Amen, amen. Now, Kodani, this week, what are we talking about? Which topic are we going to be tackling on climbing the career ladder?
I think we should continue with employability and exposure, which is a topic that I spoke about during the week. And I thought it would also be great to have this discussion with the Link FM listeners.
All right. So let's define it. When we talk about employability or exposure, what do we mean by that?
Yeah. I mean, in an economy where high unemployment rate is unemployment rate is very high.
It's too high.
The job market has become very competitive for someone to get hired. So now, how do you put yourself in a position where you are employable and you've got an exposure that would increase your opportunities of getting hired? Looking at a lot of companies now with internship and graduate programs, a lot of companies don't have junior positions anymore. They hire interns and graduates to fulfill the jobs that can be fulfilled by a junior personnel.
Yes.
And one of the reasons for this, firstly, the government, companies can get a tax rebate from the government.
Okay.
So now that's an advantage of hiring somebody with, could be with skills at a low rate, because now they'll get back from the government. So that means the company will save some money from what they could have hired somebody with, with experience for a junior position. And secondly, looking at the job market itself, that is very competitive. A lot of people are unemployed with experience, so therefore graduates from university, they end up competing against people with experience for an entry-level jobs, for an internship. So now companies end up hiring people with experience because they are willing to settle for an internship or a graduate program. So, which means that the company benefits from, like the people that are unfortunately unemployed because of high unemployment rate in South Africa,
yes.
then they could get the job fulfilled from somebody who is either not really freshly graduated but have experience. Maybe
Okay.
they've done their internship, or they've done just their an entry level position, and they've got an experience.
Okay.
So that
So-
would be an advantage to the company.
So you always encourage, somebody like you out of school and
Yeah.
you're waiting now for employment. And so instead of, saying no to job offers, or maybe where you see an internship and you're like, I'm not going to take that because I'm looking to enter that field that I study for.
Yeah.
We find a lot of people then waiting, sitting around, not doing something or not working because they're waiting for an open door in the careers. But there are people in those positions already. So now you always encourage, start in a graduate program, start with an internship, and the importance of that so that you can build your CV. Because most people or companies look for people with skills as opposed to qualification. Can we discuss that?
Yeah, so I think two things. Most companies now, or rather the job market now, there are people who can do a job that can be done by somebody with a degree, without a degree. So that means that that's somebody who's got skills versus somebody with the degree, however, does not have the skills to fulfill the job. So I would look at, for an example, marketing. It can be done by an influencer. So an
Yes.
influencer will have great skills to fulfill the job over somebody
With the
the qualification. So therefore, how do you put yourself in a position to gain an experience that can be fulfilled
Wow.
by an influencer
Yes.
with your degree? Remember, you've got an advantage of having a degree. So therefore, when you're marketing yourself, you're marketing yourself with the skills that you've gained and the degree that you have. So that's why after you've graduated, sitting at home and waiting for an employment in a position where you feel like that's where you qualify because of the qualification that you have,
Yes.
is not really favorable, because when you go for an interview, you're going to compete with someone who doesn't have the degree but have the skills,
and the experience.
and the experience. So looking at myself as well, after I did, I was actually unemployed for I think about 4 months or 5 months, but I didn't sit at home while job hunting. I went and did promotions. I was actually working at I'm not sure if I'm
A retail store.
A retail store.
Yes, doing promotions.
Doing promotions.
Okay.
And one thing I learned during that period was negotiation skills, communication skills, and also gaining confidence. So when I went for an interview, I was able to talk about the experience that I've gained through that experience. Yes. So now you don't want to sit at home applying for a job that you think you qualify for because of the qualification you have. For you to fulfill that job or an internship, you need some skills to complement the job that you're going to be doing. And now when you go for an interview, now we've got the behavioral responses for an interview. A lot of companies, when they interview you, they ask you at the beginning, please base your answers on STAR, which is situation, task, action, and resolution. So now, how do you give your answers based on that if you don't have any experience? Are you going to be giving your experience based on your high school experience, which you've spoken about it before, that you don't have any work experience?
Yes.
You should look at, maybe like examples of your group work at school, but you don't want that.
Yes.
You can build experience with volunteering as well.
And people overlook that, actually. They overlook volunteering. And
They do.
there's many opportunities where you can volunteer. I mean, you can just
Yeah.
call up a company and be like, listen, I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
Can I come shadow or volunteer?
Correct,
And no
correct.
company would be like, you can't, because, I mean, they would love extra hands
Correct.
instead of paying somebody to
Yeah.
do that job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a win-win. You gain
Yes.
experience, and the company also gains some hands. So we have to look at it that way, because a lot of people you have saying that I can't volunteer because that's a company exploiting me. No,
Yes.
you are gaining a lot of experience
Sure.
just by you working there. So you have to look at, gaining experience not only as a monetary exchange, that you can also look at it like what you can benefit from yourself as well, which is like through, gaining experience.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm loving the conversations that we have here on Climbing the Career Ladder, because we are taught, or maybe we've been exposed to situations where previously it's been frowned upon, volunteering frowned upon, but now you are pushing that no, volunteer because you need
Yeah.
that skills. So we have somebody who's got insights to say, hang on a minute, now we're seeing this unemployment rate that is very high, but what can we change,
Yeah.
in order to see that more young people getting employed, and so that high unemployment rate drops. And also job readiness, something that we should be encouraging and talking about. I don't think people that are, fresh out of varsity, fresh out of school, are they ready to go into the market? We think we are, but
Yeah.
we're not.
Yeah.
And we see that gap, but yet we don't speak about these conversations or prepare people that are going into the job market
Yeah.
to ensure that they are ready for the market.
And trust me, a lot of people after they graduate, they get into a work environment and they feel like, but this is not what I learned in varsity,
Yes, yes.
because you're not ready for work. So that's why you need to gain experience through volunteering, through doing this like peace jobs that can help you to understand how the workspace looks like. So at school, 80% or 90% of what we learn is more to prepare you for problem solving,
Sure.
boosting your confidence,
Yes.
character building. There's a lot that you learn apart from the actual experience that you're going to use at work, like the technical knowledge that you're going to use at
Yes.
work. When you get to work, you learn from scratch. That's why it's quite important to also be open enough, to be open-minded, be open-minded to learn.
As
to
well,
learn
I
new
was going to
things.
say that
Yeah.
you even though you've got this degree, you finished studying, you did a 4-year course or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't be so close-minded. Oh, I know it all. You don't. You need to start at the bottom of
Definitely.
it all and learn
Definitely.
and gain experience.
Yeah.
You spoke about behavioral interview responses. Can we touch on that? Perhaps somebody has never heard about it. What is it? What does it stand for? It's STAR, and what does STAR stand for?
Yeah, so STAR stands for situation, task, action, and resolution. So when you give your responses in an interview, you don't want to give a blank answer to your responses. For an example, if they ask you, give us like what are your strengths, you don't want to give your strength as I've got good I've got effective communications skills.
All right.
You don't want to mention it as blankly as that, but you
Okay.
want to give an example, which then you give a situation where you have applied communication, or rather you have proved your effective communication skills. And then the task, so you give the task from the situation that you have mentioned. So you describe like a task that you were responsible for, including the challenges that you came across to resolve the task. And then action, you describe the approach that you took to resolve the task, including like how you executed your execution strategy, and also including the details of the action plan to show that this is how you really needed the communication skills, and this is how you executed it. And if maybe it includes also, when you're communicating, also talking about collaboration. So now, how did everyone collaborated through your effective communication skills? And then resolution. If they were, you have to highlight the challenges that you came across to really highlight how your communication is very effective. Then you should explain how you resolve the issue or the outcome. Yeah. Or what was the outcome of the situation? Yeah.
I love this, and I think I look back now where I went to job interviews, and I'm like, I don't remember, answering these questions. You literally, when you're in a job interview, you're thinking the first thing that comes to your mind without applying this information, situation, task, action resolution.
Yeah.
Now we have this in place for people who want to get into the market, people who want to become employable. There is solutions for them, and there are ways
Yeah.
of them to prepare for
Yeah.
that job opportunity that they're applying for.
Correct. So that's why it's quite important that when you prepare for your interview, you have to look at different examples that you can bring into the interview responses. It's not based on just what you think you could
Yes.
contribute into the team or the value that you're going to add into the team. You have to demonstrate how you have used those examples.
Okay.
So everything must be demonstrated into the interview if you want to increase your opportunities of getting hired.
So basically, they're looking for like a portfolio.
Correct.
So they want
Yeah.
evidence of what you did, and not
Yeah.
only put down. But and you always mention on your CV, ensure you put accurate information. Don't make it up, because then they will see, I guess, in the interview when you're answering and giving those examples.
Yeah.
They'll be like, no man, it doesn't sound like this person did it. It sounds like it up.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you are accurate with that information, you'll be able to give those examples with confidence, of course.
Correct.
And I think that's what make sure that you become more calmer when you go for the interview
Yeah.
and ready for that opportunity to be given to you.
Correct, yeah.
Now, okay, go
No,
for it.
no, you can go.
I was going to ask now,
Yeah.
would you then advise for anybody who is at home right about now, what other ways can they prepare in order for them to be marketable or employable?
Yeah, I look at teaching as an example. I mean, teaching, we've got schools everywhere. If you have graduated with a teaching degree or teaching diploma, don't wait until, a vacancy is available.
Yes.
Go to different schools in your neighborhood and volunteer to be a teacher's assistant.
Agreed.
Or to support or even helping kids with tutorials.
Yes.
So that there are some skills that you gain there.
Sure.
And the main goal of you volunteering should be focused on the end goal. A lot of people don't really look at the end goal, or rather like a bigger picture.
Okay.
Like, why have you done have you studied your degree? At the end, you want to become a teacher.
Yes.
But now, how do you put yourself forward other than waiting for a vacancy to open up? You have to go and volunteer. And when you are there, you have to have a lot of initiatives. You have to initiate a lot of things that could improve the school's systems, improve,
so that you can stand out at the end of the day.
Exactly. It's all about how do you make yourself stand out so that when you are done, the principal can recommend you.
Yes.
Or the principal can hire you.
Absorb
You feel like
into the school.
Exactly. So that's why I encourage people to have a development plan where they can structure their development into different sections of what they're going to learn, and also within those different sections they might have something that they're going to develop on. They must have also initiatives that they're going to bring into the areas where they are going to be, so that when you sell yourself to, after gaining that experience, you don't even have to wait for a vacancy to open. Go to different schools and say, I've been working at school A, and this is what I've learned so far, and this is what I've implemented within the period that I was there. So I am looking for employment.
Wow.
You're putting your CV out there instead of waiting for a vacancy to open. So that's how you improve your networking skills, which is very, very important.
It is, because you won't be able to be stand out when there are so many people also competing for that one role. That's how we started that.
Correct.
The one role when there's many candidates competing for that
Correct.
one opportunity.
Correct. What makes you different from others? Because looking at you sitting at home with your degree or your diploma, you have graduated like other people as well.
Yes.
And something that I would also like to add is the way the market has become very competitive. Now that we're talking about teaching, for an example, somebody with a degree in agriculture, maybe they don't get hired. They can go and do a postgraduate certificate in education,
Yes.
and therefore they compete with you. So that's why the market has become very competitive. Yeah.
Some people are not going into the industry that they qualified for because they're finding that industry is not opening up for them. Therefore, they then go on
Yes.
get another degree or something certificate
Yes.
that will back up for another industry and
Yes.
open the door for them.
Yeah.
So it is very, very competitive out there.
It is.
So how can people, if there's somebody listening right about now, they wanna get services or support from you, how can they contact contact you? And yes, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so they contact me at career.corporatehub@gmail.com. I actually have slots available this week to support with other CV, review, interview preps, as well
Wow.
as career development, like a structure for your career.
Sure.
So I'm available. I've put up a list of slots that are available this week.
I saw it on social media.
Yes, so you can check me on my social media to look at the slots that are available as well, or just to stay in touch with a lot of topics that I touch on on LinkedIn, Kodani Tlajoyo,
Sure.
and then on Instagram, Kodani_H, and also Career and Corporate Hub on Instagram, and then on TikTok is Career and Corporate Hub.
Okay. Now, Kodani, what book are you currently reading for the listeners? And by the way, listeners, we can give her a high five. She finally bought me the book after waiting 2 months. Now, I'm only teasing.
Oh my
Kodani.
gosh.
I'm only joking. But now she's also giving me a reading journal, by the way. So now I'm also going to be accountable of the books that I read.
Correct.
My word. And I think, listeners, you must get this as well so that you can also be accountable for the books that you read. And you'll tell us about that. How can they get a copy of the reading journal as well?
Yeah, so a reading journal, you can find it on my social media that I mentioned actually.
Okay.
So it's only 130 just to hold yourself accountable on what you are reading. I always say, you know, the books that I'm reading now are more for research because I'm in the career and corporate hub space. So therefore, I don't want to talk about information that I don't.
You don't know.
You know, so
Yes.
for credibility, I do a lot of reading along, you know, the information that is relevant to career and corporate hub. So
I love it for you. I
with
love
the
it.
reading journal, it also has a portion where you can put your lessons learned because everything that I read, I want to apply it somewhere. So therefore, it will also help you to have some lessons learned and apply them somewhere, which I see a lot of people don't really do. You know, we read a lot of things, but there's no improvement in our life. So how do you become the best version of yourself if you're reading so much but you're not learning anything from what you're reading? And then the book that I'm reading today is If You Don't Do Politics, Politics Will Do You.
And this is not based on politics like, you know, government or anything like that.
No.
It's work related, like office politics.
Yes, it's a guide to navigating office politics effectively and ethically.
I love it.
It's by Niven Postma, and I love that she's a South African author. So
Nice.
I'm quite happy to be reading this book, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the content that is inside.
Okay. And the title of it, if you
don't do politics, politics will do you.
If you would like to navigate the office politics, do get that book. And I would also suggest that you get the reading journal from Kodani Tlajoyo, as well as the reflection and accountability journal that she has as well available. But also go on to her different social media platforms to get all the services that she has available. I would advise you, listeners, grab a hold of her services, and so that you can be ready for whatever career that you want to go into, so that you can grow, you can develop, and so that we can see you climbing that career ladder. And that's how I'm going to end off the segment once again. Kodani, thank you so much for coming. Any last words before we say goodbye?
Sustainable growth is very important, so that's why you need to be strategic on how you approach your career development, or rather your career roadmap.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kodani, once again for climbing the career ladder.